Okay, I'm back. So for today's video, the main purpose is going to be replacing the starter motor on the Kodiak, the Yamaha Kodiak 700. Though to get to that starter motor, a couple of things some people might need to watch in the video anyways is going to be the removal of the seat. Believe it or not, it's not so like common sense where normally there's a little lever at the back or something to hit. It's actually a pull out and almost feel like you're breaking it, kind of the way this comes out. And also like a cheap way to just pull the side cover out without removing everything else, which is realistically the way to do it. You gotta disassemble a lot, but we're gonna do it the shortcut way. And also we're gonna have to be disconnecting the battery because we're gonna be removing the starter and we don't wanna do some type of short because it's going to be a hot wire going into that starter. So we'll get started. First, like I said, this seat that everybody is on a mission to get it out is actually just very hard, but you're going to jank it off because it's only held by pressure of these two parts right here into these rubber like type of grommets there. Once that comes off, you will have to remove at least, which this one has it off already. Somebody in the past, previous owner must have removed it for something, but two little black, like tag type fasteners that go there, which is the same that go all over the place that every time you take them off, they break and people just put tie straps, you know, the zip ties to replace it. But with that said, I found, which I'm gonna be using these, because you know, there's different sizes of those push type of fasteners, those round blackhead. But now I saw that they sell a special type of zip tie that looks like this. And in the pack, you know, for each of these type of zip ties, they're kind of different. They look like a T. Then comes this end to it. And you basically use it almost like a zip tie and it leaves it with the same type of connector on the top and then you cut out the excess. So I'll show later on in the video when I put it back together how I use it, and I will put a link at the bottom of my description where I got them because I think they're really beneficial for a lot of things, for cars, to put under the fenders. So there's a lot of uses for it. Same thing that I'll be in the front here. When I get to the front, I'll show that I have these type of connectors that I have set in front of my plastic. And these connectors, I'll put a link on the bottom too. What I love about them is that if I need to jump start the ATV, I do not need to open the whole front covers. I already have terminals they're ready. So from my battery, I have a wire coming to the positive and another one coming to the negative. And then this is covered, it has a cap on. But whenever I need to do a jump start, I just remove this, connect the jumper cables here or the boost pack, and the other one here, same thing. And when not in use, it's protected. So these are two things that I wanted to show you, that and the zip tie, just so I don't forget later on to mention it, because I think they're like very nice things to have here. I'll show you where I put the positive here, you know, attached to this plastic, and the negative here. The reason why the negative could be here is because if I were to accidentally touch when I'm trying to jump start this metal here, it's grounded, it won't do nothing. But the positive, I want it to be alone where I won't hit any other metal stuff. But you'll see later how that goes connected. Just wanted to give you a little idea of a little thing that I like to do to my bike and to other equipment that I have to jump start sometimes because, you know, you don't use it a lot or something. It's nice to have those little ports to connect to, or whatever you want to call them. Anyway, so now here, what I'm going to do is kind of pull this up and try to disconnect this, because there it goes. And let me see if there is Okay, there's actually one bolt under there that's gonna be, looks like a 10 millimeter. So let me get this set right there. And the ratchet. We're gonna start taking that part apart so we can access where the starter's at. This is the first time I removed that, so I'm just kind of winging it here. There it goes. Why is this one so stubborn there? So the starter's right behind here. And they are 2 bolts holding it down, and then obviously the wires for the positive going right in the back of the starter, and then a ground that looks like it's also hooked up to where one of the 2 mounting points it's at. Now let's go back before we do a short and short something out, and let's remove this, which either ways, remember this is with tie straps right now, rigged up. We're gonna go ahead and do it when we replace it with the new things that I showed you a little bit ago. Let me align this camera here a little bit better. See how this is zip tied, and everybody does this when these pieces start breaking. And this one has extra holes because at some point different tie straps were rigged up in different places. But we're gonna use the new system now when we're done, and we'll see how that works out. It's a lot easier than fishing these zip ties from one hole to another. So here, I'm gonna pull enough here to remove the positive cable now. So I'll show you real quick what I did. So from each post, a wire comes out and hooks up to, let me see if I need to zoom in for you. From the negative post, I have one going to my black one, and then from the positive one here. And then the way this works around the plastic is that it sandwiches and stays stuck between both, because I'll show you here on another one. It has, when you open it up down here, see, it'll sandwich in there, the plastic. So it's not gonna do any contact. First of all, this is plastic, and then there's plastic and plastic. And then you tighten up with one, the nut closes up there, and then the wire that you're gonna bring is gonna come in here with that terminal connector, and then you tighten it. And then up here on this side is where you remove this whenever you want to jump start, and just put your clamp right there, you know, from your booster pack or the cables you're jump starting with. And that way you always have that accessible. Now for now, let's go ahead and remove Take away you know what? I'm gonna just remove the negative one. Actually, it's closer. The other one's more deep in there. So I removed the negative terminal. Which, by removing it, I took off the actual negative one that it brings from the motorcycle, and the one that I hooked up to this here. And I'll show you a closer look there. So you can see how that goes. You see right here, this will go to the negative one, this one to the positive. And that's it. Now the battery is disconnected, so I will not have any type of a issue here now when I start. Let me see if this camera can look in there. But basically, where the start is at there, there's 1 and 2 bolts, one on each side. Okay, so on this camera change here, I went ahead and checked what size socket. It's gonna be an 8mm to remove the 2 bolts that are attaching the starter there. And I got also a swerver in case I can't make the angle here. Which is exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought. I might have to even get a small ratchet. I don't know if this is gonna work, because it's a little bit kind of hidden. It's too much of an angle. Let's see without the extension. Yeah, it's too bulky with the electric ratchet there. Let's try it now with a manual one then. This is what happens when you're doing it real time for the first time. You live and learn. So one extension is too long. Let's see with the swerve attached to the socket, it's the right length. Because there's things that are in your way in there. Just so that you understand what's going on. There you go, that worked. There's all kind of obstructions. The swerver thing kind of sucks also. Maybe getting an 8 short with an extension will be the right height, because too short and you don't make it because this is on your way, and too long you start hitting up there. So I've noticed that if I put to this long socket, the extension is too long. So maybe I said a short 8 might do it with the extension. Let's give that a try and see if that's the right combination of clearance where it's not too long or too short. And this is how you learn. See, here we go. Short. Would this be it? And let me see the other one back there too. Oh yeah, it's doing that one for sure. Yep. And then this one, I think I had it too. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So they're both loose, perfect. Now the question is, can I do that rest now that it's loose with this one? Because originally, you're probably thinking, oh, how's it gonna fit now, but it didn't before. Well, the problem is that I needed to actually move this when it's really hard. You know, you don't have enough pressure, power to do it electrically, so you gotta do it manually, but it's so bulky that it hits. But now I could find a spot where it could sit in, but still I'll be able to do it electrically without having to move the whole thing here. You see? But if I had to be moving this to like break it loose, I can't. This is too bulky and it was in my way. So I had to break it with the regular one. Okay, got this bolt out. One of two. Well, this one's so loose that I could just do it by hand. Maybe this is the one on the right that has a ground wire going to the bolt, you know, with a terminal connector, and then into the starter. So remember that you have to connect there your ground. You can't forget to connect that ground that I just came off when I took off that bolt. Now this should be loose and only now attached by the positive. That has a little boot over right here in the back. And I'm wondering if I could take that off after I remove the starter out of the spot so I could, you know, access it easier, because it seems it's kind of hard to get to that bolt because it's from the other side. I'm trying to shake it out, but it's pretty hard. Why is it so hard there? Let me try to tap it with a hammer and something here. It's like if it's like stuck. Let me look at the new starter and make sure there's not a third bolt that I'm not aware of. So here is the new starter. And it's sitting like this. That's the bolt that I took out on the right that has also the ground wire coming to here with the terminal on it. The bolt goes through both that terminal and then this mount here. And then the first screw, the other one was this one on the left. So there's no other screw here. And the only thing I haven't taken off is this here, but you see how hard it would be to remove a screw going that way, you know, to get a tool from the other side. There's a bunch of obstacles in the way. So I'm thinking if it pops out and I could flip it, I should be able to access it easier. A little 10 socket there. But right now, what's keeping this from coming out is what I would like to know. Because unless it's just a little bit stuck or something from all the years that it's been sitting there, don't know why it's not budging. Let me give it a couple of taps. It has a little shake to it. It's like it's stuck right here. So let me play with it a little bit. And I'll be right back. Okay, so doing more thinking, what I've concluded is that the reason it's probably not going out, even though this bolts are already taken off, is because this seal that it has. I am betting right now that that seal has like been there for so many years that it's keeping that tension there, holding this stuck. So I'm gonna have to probably pry it out to release that, because, you know, doing an observation of the starter, this is the only thing that could be holding it. A lot of tension. And why it must be that it's a lot of tension here, very nice and snug, it's because it's to not get any water or mud to come over into this area. So that has to have a very, very good tight seal, which is probably the problem right now. Now let's see how we go around that. Maybe I could get a big screwdriver and pry it or something. Let's give it a shot. Because, let me give it one more time with my hands. It's not enough leverage to begin with your hands. But gotta find a spot that, let's see, the smaller screwdriver here, without breaking something, find a spot to be able to pull some leverage. Let me see here. Because you don't want to break any part of the casing or something around here. No, it's not working. It's just everything's in the way. It's so difficult to get any. Let me try a straight screwdriver. I thought these curved ones would have done a better prying job. Let's see this giant one, it'll fit. Oh yeah, look. That one did it. Wow. I wasn't expecting it to come out that easy. Shows what a little bit of leverage can do. But now, problem is that wire is still connected back there. It doesn't let you just push back. Of course, couldn't be simple. Probably the right way to do is to remove the whole air box. But to remove the air box, man, there's things all the way to the front here you have to disconnect. So let's see what, if anything, could be done. If possible, without having to take apart the airbox, to have some access there from the top. Because the airbox is definitely in the freaking way. Oh, turning it to the left, it seems like it's moving a lot. And it might give me enough clearance, because I have to go that way enough for that sprocket can clear this housing. But there's things back there, you know, all over the place that are preventing this starter from pushing back. It's like the only way for it to go out will be that way if the airbox is removed. But I'm still gonna try because I'd really rather not have to take apart half of the world here for something so simple that only has 2 bolts holding it. To have to remove so many other things, it makes no sense. It's cold outside, but it's getting kind of warm in here now. Let's take that jacket off. Where is your position? What's that sweet spot that you're gonna let me take you out without removing other objects? Oh, there we go. Put it upside down. And at least it came out. Well, at least it's out of that spot. Look, almost out, but even here, there's all sort of stuff holding it. If I had a way to remove now that the nut holding the power to it, it's just in the back. It's just not simple to take off. And it's so close because that's all you need and that's it. I wouldn't have to take nothing else apart. And then even this stupid little thing here in the way. Can't go any further. I went outside and looked, I heard a noise. It's the helicopter going by. So yeah, it'd be nice. And if I could get even a ratchet with a long extension from the other side. What the heck is this? To take off that, it would be nice. Let me give that a shot because that's my last resort before having to remove all of that. Because there's no way any ratchet or anything's gonna fit back there to remove that. So we'll try to go all through across the other side. Let me make sure that it's a 10, which is what I think. I'm here at the toolbox right now looking for what I believe is the 10, and it is a 10. And then now let me get a long extension. Oh, and I'm gonna use 1/4 sockets, instead of the 3/8, because I wanna make sure, they're skinnier and that it's gonna fit through. And get this really long. Here we go. So the reason why I want it to be a 1/4 inch socket, because the walls are thinner and everything, so it could fit in here good and less obstacles through the way too. Let me see now if with this extension it'll be enough. And you'll see what I'm thinking about doing. If from all the way over here, I could align the hole, or I might have to remove this plastic at least. This one got that bolt holding it too. Wait, let me see if I don't have to take off that plastic. If there's a little gap that I can make it through. Let me see. Well, it'd be nice to have a person on the other side right now. Socket fell. But no, that plastic has to come out on the other side for sure. If I'm gonna have any shot of being able to do this without removing the whole airbox thing and everything. Took out the wrong screw. Let me go to the right. Oh, same problem as the other side, huh? The little front one here is gonna get stuck on me. There we go. A little bit better access now. Okay, I got a smaller combination here with a 10 of a 1/4 inch because I need to fit through that little space there. And an adapter going to 3, adapter here going to 3/8. And then with this about 6-inch extension. And let's see if right now it looks like I think I'll be able to reach it and do it from this side. Now, first, I gotta align all of this stuff. And see if I can get everything good here. And the problem is also the wire with the terminal going into that slot in the back of the starter kind of gets in the way of letting the socket go all the way in. So let me bend it back because it feels like that's what was not letting me put the socket in right now. And there you go. Oh, I finally got it. Yep. Yep, coming off. I should be using the electric ratchet right now. Okay, that nut is off. I'm holding it with 2 fingers, and there it is. Now what happens is that it wouldn't go all the way in, and I was having problems because the wire that's here, at the angle that when it gets installed is bent like this. So it's kind of blocking the socket from going in. So if you have that problem that your socket's not going in and it's dark in there and you can barely see, it's the wire that's on your way. So now finally, this comes out. So here's the thing that, remember, it's in a cavity, and then this is here, and then this wire that's coming in through the side, it's not just perfectly like that, it's like this. And it has a bulge here where the terminal gets crimped, and that also inhibits, like the crimping is almost right there, so you have to bend it back a lot to be able to get through there. And that was what the party's at. So now, well, now we know that it can be done without removing all of this, at least with this method. Okay, now I'm gonna put this one the new one back. And let's get our positive. Well, this is going to be a pain because if to take it off was hard, you know, putting it on, it's not going to be easy either. Because usually, you know, taking it off, you know, things are in one spot. Now you got to manipulate things to get them all to align. And we're gonna have to start by doing it upside down because the way the wire is. I wish this wire was longer and could be manipulated better. That hot one that goes straight to the starter. Because that's what really makes it so difficult. With barely no space to put your hands through here. And almost not being able to hold anything here. And then I have to also put that, somehow manage to get my fingers to go through this with 2 fingers without dropping this. Put it in the most awkward position here. Oh, to not remove all of this, but give it a try. Because I actually looked for videos trying to see the simple way. This is why I'm doing it my own way. And the only person that I saw do it another way was removing all of this. And man, I really did not want to do that. It just puts this into another extra hour work between 20 something more minutes of disassembly and 20 something more minutes of assembly. You end up with another hour worth of work, which I was not looking forward to. And you know what? Earlier I dropped a socket and it was a little minute there for me to find it. And when I say a little minute, it's about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna tape this one up. Not going through that risk again of dropping a socket and it falls in a spot that you don't even see it, you don't know how to find it, you have to play with magnets to get to it. So let me tape this up. Better safe than sorry. Happened to me already once. I want to go through it again. So we're gonna do it the safe way. And now to align all of this, if you had somebody, it'd be a lot easier though, to do this little part here. Doing all this by feel, so it's not that easy. And like I said, too many things in the way. Now I'm ratcheting, thinking that I'm in the right spot. And what I mean is with the cable in the right position, but it's falling in that little side slot. Because if not, I gotta, if when I'm tightening, the wire's not in the right spot, it's not gonna tighten correctly. And what I mean by that, I'm gonna show you now. That's why I walked away from the camera. To give you a good look here. Let me find a wire that simulates what's going on. Nope, not quite. Find another one here. So this is what's going on in there. I'll show you now. This, when you tighten it, it has to be, see the slot right here has to be coming out this way. And when you're in there and upside down and from that way, this is kind of like what I can see. I can't see nothing from this side. And if I'm on the other side, then I can't hold this properly. But basically, when you put it, as you start twisting, this could end up right here, and it needs to be in the slot, because if it's like this, it'll never tighten right. It'll keep a gap. So it needs to fall right into that slot so the wire's coming directly there. And then what happened earlier that I told you that it's kind of hard to get the socket in originally is because you're probably thinking the socket could just hit here, but no, because this was not like that. This was bent like an L. So this was coming, cable was coming this way. So when the cable is coming that way, like that, like I show you, you know, like this way, this bulge is blocking partially. See, imagine this bulge coming like this. It blocks partially the access to the nut, so the socket doesn't fit. And then that was why I had to end up bending it back, and luckily enough, because it's really difficult. Explaining it might sound, oh, it's simple, just bend it. It's really difficult because of the tension that there's back there. There's not too much to give and to manipulate and to move around the starter. So, no, it's not as simple. Once you do it, you'll understand. So it's not impossible, but what I'm trying to say is that it takes some time, and you have to, you know, have a little bit of patience, and you'll get it done. But have some patience, you know. Don't frustrate yourself. Don't get frustrated. Don't break anything. And you'll be all right. See, now to do all of that had to be done upside down. Now I gotta twist the whole thing, and with that fat, it's another thing that cable is thick gauge. So to turn it around and manipulate it and twist it and all that, it's not that easy. So for anyone that rather work freely, I guess take the extra hour and remove all these other stuff. And it makes it easier. It doesn't even make it 100% like, oh, like changing a battery or anything like that. It's still not a piece of cake. I mean, this was for such an easy thing to remove, which is 2 bolts and a couple and the screw for the power. Something so simple. It's really in a spot that you have to go through a lot of work to get it in and out. That's the complicated part. Anyways, now before I start putting it in, I'm gonna, after remembering how hard it was to pull this out, I don't want this seal to bind and crush itself or twist itself upon installation. So I'm gonna put some lube to help it going, because if it was that hard to take it out, I can only imagine to go in now and without breaking it. So let's try some lube on there. Got some lube here. And you could probably use engine oil or anything else that you have, transmission fluid. But I have this specific little tube of actual lube. All right. Let's now try and see if we can make it fit. Because I still know it's not going to be simple. Didn't come out easy. And now the tension of the wire in a different position. Guaranteed to not be simple. Well, off the bat, I see a problem here. That this wire is facing down and now the actual wire itself is obstructing. And the hole there was facing down on that plastic part that we've been talking about. So apparently, and I just noticed on the other one it's facing up. Apparently it came by factory wrong here. And I didn't even think of checking that because why would I? Why would you think that comes wrong? So let's go back in here and take it off. What a waste of time here. Just flip this around again. And I'm sure I have to find this now again. Oh my goodness. I gotta bend this back again. It's in the way. Same thing happening. Once it bends down, it blocks the access to the socket. Oh my goodness. And when you thought you had it, that did not work out. There it goes. Whoa, I'm getting upset at the starter already. Shouldn't have been this difficult. And here, let's see if I can explain what happened here. So, and something like this could stop you completely. You would think, what does it matter? You see a difference? This one is facing up, this opening, this one's down, where that little bit alone makes, when you're trying to put it on, that wire going down hits a piece of metal there of it's the intake, I think, on the other side. But, and you probably think the metal should flex. No, this is a really thick piece of metal that is touching metal with metal. And this is hot, so you can have this piece of that terminal that's bending like this touch metal there, or it's gonna fry. Something's gonna fry because that one has to be up, the way it's touching nothing because it's bare metal. It's that part. I'll show you again because I don't want somebody to make this mistake and mess up their equipment. It's a piece of what's sticking out of there. When you have it like this, you have an idea. What's sticking out, it's a piece of bare metal. So, and that metal was touching and rubbing against a piece of pipe there, which wasn't letting this sit properly. So even if I would have forced it, this would have been touching like a metal. It can't do that. That's because it was facing the wrong direction now. Why is this facing down and that one up? And then to take this off, the problem is that I have to loosen up that back bolt nut. And I don't know if then to tighten it, it'll be a problem. So I'm gonna be very careful. If not, what I'll do is I could just cut some, an opening here and just have two. Let me see first if it'll let me take it off without loosening something inside. That's the problem now. Okay. Because sometimes when you try to tighten something inside, it'll keep on spinning and that'll create an issue with the connector that's in there. How I know? Because I've opened the other type of starters, but no, in this one, it's not a problem. Look, you can spin it and retighten it. Now, don't over tighten it because I'm still worried that you could overspin something inside. So I'm just gonna do a nice hand tighten there. Boom. Because that's just the piece that's in between to hold this like in a sandwich there. The connector in there is another wire with another nut. Same thing as here, there'll be a wire with another nut. So now we have them the right way now. Why would I thought that would come wrong? No one would. But now you know, so you don't go through the same trouble that I just went through right now. Hopefully that saves somebody some time. Because that was a waste of time for me. For no reason. Because I could have came that way. But somebody in the assembly line didn't give a crap. Let's just say that crap. They didn't give a crap about us. And they said, let's do it. Put it the wrong way. So someone can put it on and have to take it off again. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't think somebody's doing it like that on purpose, but it definitely made me waste time. Unnecessary time. Wasted. And this is all pretty much by feel. On my left hand, grabbing the tip of the socket and guiding it to the spot. There you go, and fill it, right? That will work. Now, let's get this into its position. Which is another challenge itself to get it in here. So much. So much tension. Okay, here's the demonstration at the end here, putting everything back together. I'm gonna put this zip ties I was talking about, how it works. You stick it from the bottom one, on the bottom side, which in this case is a little bit complicated because I have this bar on top. So now I went through the bottom one, I go through this one. It's a lot easier when you're doing it on a fender or something else. But there it goes. And then you come with this thing we're talking about here. And you're right through. You see? And that's how they're gonna come out. Looking better than when it's zip tied in. It's gonna look a lot better than the zip ties. See how it comes out right there? Kind of like those two, right up there. And that's it for this video. Catch you on the next one.